Hi there, awesome artists. Let's learn about a very famous American artist named Georgia O'Keeffe. Georgia O'Keeffe was born in 1887 and she lived until 1986. She was almost 100 years old before she died. While she was alive, she lived and worked in New Mexico, and she used the landscape and animals and plants around her in New Mexico to paint amazing pictures. One of the things that she saw around her a lot in the hot desert of New Mexico were animal skulls. And instead of being scared or freaked out by these skulls, she thought they were pretty cool. She would often paint an animal skull along with a flower to show that she could really paint both. She had a lot of skill. She could paint the hard, dry texture of the animal skull with all the shadows and highlights, and she could also paint a soft, delicate flower in the same picture. Now that is some skill. I love the look of her skull and flower pictures so much that it inspired me to lead us in a project of our own. We are going to draw an animal skull along with a couple of delicate flowers to show our artistic skill, and then we get to decorate the background any way we want. Let's start drawing our Georgia O'Keeffe skull and flower pictures. Start with your paper the tall way, up and down, and up toward the top corners, draw two pointy horns. One on this side and one on the other. Use two curved lines that touch at the ends to create the horns. Try to make them the same size and in the same spot on the paper. Then on the end of each horn, add two curved lines. That's the bump of the horn. Next, we need to draw the skull's forehead with an arch that connects the two horns. Now we're going to draw the eyes at the bottom of both of our horns. How we do that is draw a curved line, almost like a letter C and a backward C, at the bottom of both horns. Try to make them the same size. Now we need to draw the nose of the skull with two straight vertical lines coming down from the eyes, and connect the two lines with a zigzag. Add the dent of the skull with a vertical line in the middle of your skull, and let's finish this thing. We are going to draw a line on each side of the skull that echoes the side of the face. It has a curve, a straight line, and a rectangle at the bottom. Let's watch on the other side. Curve, vertical line, rectangle. Try to make sure that your skull is almost symmetrical. Symmetrical means that it is the same or almost the same on both sides. The last detail we want to add are some texture lines on the horns. And now let's add some flowers, just like Georgia O'Keeffe. The flowers are kind of like the opposite of the skull, right? The skull is hard, it kind of looks like death, but the flowers are soft and they look alive. They're a great symbol of life. You can draw as many flowers as you want around your skull, and you can draw any type of flower that you want. I'm going to show you two examples. One is like a daisy or a sunflower, and you make it with a circle in the middle and these arches for petals radiating out of the circle. Radiating means that they're shooting out from the same middle, the same center. You might want to add some lines inside of the daisy's petals for texture as well. We're trying to show our artistic skill here. Maybe some texture in the center would be great. You could also draw a rose. An easy way to draw a rose goes like this. Start with a spiral line, and then draw big, fat petals growing all around the spiral. And the petals should start to wrap around each other. You might want to have 2 or 3 layers of petals. And when you're done, add a U at the bottom. Now I want my picture to look more balanced. The sunflower is huge and the rose is kind of small. So it looks a little bit unbalanced. I'm going to fix that by adding some leaves coming out of my rose to make it look bigger, to kind of match the sunflower on the other side. Once you have an animal skull and a couple of flowers, just like our friend Georgia, it's time to find a black or dark marker or crayon or colored pencil and trace your drawing. The reason we're doing this is so that the drawing is still really clear after we start a coloring. Once your gorgeous Georgia O'Keeffe inspired artwork is all traced or outlined with a dark color, it's time to add more colors. You can use any colors you want to color in your flower. You could even go crazy and color in your skull, like a rainbow skull or something. No matter what you do, make sure that you add some color and design to your background. If you leave it white or blank, your picture might not look finished, and we don't want that. I'm so excited to see your Georgia O'Keeffe skulls and to see what kind of flowers you chose and to see how your background looks. See you later.